Hello. Okay.
Hello.
Go on then.
Oh, we're recording. We're live.
Yes.
Right. Welcome back to another podcast episode with me, Jamie, and Luke.
Yes.
What are we talking about?
Well, we didn't do a podcast last week.
No.
We did 2 weeks in a row, and then I was camping,
Yeah.
and you were away working.
Yeah, it was school holidays, to be fair, wasn't it? That's the reason.
Yes.
What did you get up to? What did you get up to last week?
Camping. I went
Camping.
camping. Work-wise, or are you asking me in terms of what have you been up to?
Yeah, just in general, what you've been up to. I haven't really seen you that much. Missed you.
What have I done recently? I made a music video.
Yeah.
in here, and in the hallways of where our studio is. I put a link in it in the description for a band called Black Spiders. I'm sort of friends with the singer, and I saw they'd popped something up on Instagram. They were looking for people to make. They wanted an animated video making, and I didn't make an animated video, and I said, like, if you don't get anyone coming forward,
I'll do
then
it.
just let me know. I'll be happy to do something. The song's about vampires, so I've got my kids dressed up as vampires, got them running up and down the hallways with some fake blood
enjoy
and
it?
stuff like that.
Did they enjoy it as much as the video portrayed it to be?
No, no. One of them did. The other two did not want to do it.
Was it stressful for you directing your kids? Because I feel like that's what you do all day, every day anyway, right?
Yeah, it was stressful. It was a little bit, actually.
Did you storyboard it all? Or?
No, I knew what I wanted to do,
Yeah.
and then that's absolutely not what happened on the day. It was more just get some stuff and then find like a thing to put together. Yeah, I had loads of shots planned that didn't really get to do. Managed to do a couple of them, but they just weren't really into it. They were, the idea of doing it, they
Yeah.
were really up for it, and then no. But anyway, videos looks cool, I think.
Yeah, it looks really cool, yeah.
I did a couple of interesting things, probably worth mentioning here. So, filmed it all in 24 frames a second, even though I knew I was going to slow some of the footage down, so normally you wouldn't do that. However, I wanted, because it was like, it's about vampires, and I wanted it to have this kind of like old-fashioned film, not like 35mm film, but like old sort of black and white horror film type thing. I wanted it to be a bit jerky, so I filmed it in 24 frames a second, set the timeline to 12 frames a second, so it's quite like jerky anyway, but then I sped some of the footage up by 25%, and then some of it I slowed down to like 50%, so it's like, jittery and stuff. But then also
So you didn't have a problem with that in post when you came to it?
No, I mean, that was what I wanted to do, and I thought rather than emulate it, just bake it in. The other thing that I did that's completely baked into the footage is, normally you'll double your shutter speed, so like you have a 180 shutter speed rule. So if you're shooting 24 frames a second, your shutter speed should be 48, etc. I set the shutter speed to 120.
Okay.
Which is way slower than it should have been, which causes like banding and like flickering on the screen. But I wanted that to have that kind of creepy look. So again, that's like totally baked into all the footage.
Yeah.
I did add a couple of like scratches afterwards and things like that, but I wanted it to look, like you said, like a couple of the shots are quite dark. I was like, actually, it's kind of on purpose. I almost want it to be like, what am I seeing? And then it's like suddenly a little kid's like,
It's quite interesting because you. Is the video out yet?
Yeah.
So the band have seen it. You okay?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so we can drop a link in the
Yeah.
description for you to watch it or whatever. But it was quite interesting when I was watching it because I don't know if it was maybe because I know you and your family and everything in it, but I kept kind of stopping and rewinding, and obviously you were genuinely asking for feedback, right? So I was looking for things that I kind of didn't like or whatever, but it was awesome. I loved
It's
it.
like when whenever you make something, you're like, well, certainly I do. You make something and you're like, well, this is the shittest thing anyone has ever made. So why? Yeah,
Same with photography, right?
yeah. So we were just running up and down the same corridor, but I'm hoping that you can't tell it's actually all shot in the
No,
same little stretch of corridor.
I couldn't tell that, and,
Right.
and that's here. But I guess it's worth explaining. The corridors that are in our building are quite creepy looking. Anyway.
That's
Like,
why.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
why I
yeah.
wanted to do it
Yeah,
here.
it's a really, we're in like an old shoe factory.
Probably was a
yeah,
shoe
I
factory
know.
at
I think
some
it was. I
point.
think I googled it before we moved in or whatever. But anyway, it's quite grim looking at the best of times. But and we've got like this creepy lift elevator with big metal shutters and stuff, which
Yeah,
took advantage
yeah.
of that as well. Yeah.
Oh, and also, if you want to get into the technicalities of it, I shot it all on a 12mm manual lens with an
Okay.
ND, with a quite a heavy ND
Yeah,
filter on it. I thought I was going to
I should use
change.
an ND filter even though it was already dark and
Well, so in these in the corridors, the lights don't turn off; they're
Yeah,
on
on a
sensors.
timer, aren't they? Yeah, yeah.
So they switch off after a while, but as soon as you move, they're on. So I thought I
I
didn't
did
want it
wonder
all
if you had to
bright.
wait for any moment.
No, it was too. Well, I was going to.
Yeah.
I wanted to get the kids to stand in the corridor and wait for the lights to go like chung chung.
Yeah,
chung,
that's
chung.
exactly what I was thinking.
There
but
was
there's no
no
way. Of doing it, is there?
way.
Yeah.
You can
Oh,
if you
can you?
stand perfectly still.
Yeah.
They only go off after a couple of minutes, but there's no way on the
Yeah,
day
yeah.
that they were going to do that.
I did think I might see little Riv at like the distance and it go bum bum.
Yeah,
bum,
yeah.
bum.
Those really,
Yeah.
really wanted to.
Yeah,
So yeah, 12mm So a lot of the shots are out of focus, or much wider than you would normally do, but it all added to the like look and feel of it.
Yeah.
So no like long lenses, no sort of shallow depth of field, any of that stuff. It was all like I had a big video light in one hand and the camera in the other, that I was kind of swinging it around
Yeah.
and just getting stuff. But the look of it is what I wanted. A lot
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
shots aren't exactly what I
Yeah.
wanted.
And I think it's worth mentioning as well. This is you doing everything solo, right? This wasn't.
Oh,
You didn't have
100%.
like a production team. You didn't have like assistants in any way, shape, or form. You just had
Well,
your camera or cameras. Whatever it might
And
be.
I had to. You right there, Thrasher?
Thrasher. Don't do that, mate.
I had to film it all, yeah, and edit it basically straight away.
Yeah.
Because when I spoke to Pete, like the singer from the band, he was like, "Oh yeah, by the way, can you do it for this date?" And I was like, "No." So he wanted it for the Monday,
Oh,
but I
okay.
couldn't
What
film
day
it.
did you film it?
I filmed it on the Saturday.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So like just over a week ago, and I said this. I wanted to try and get it edited by the Monday, and secretly I was going to try to, but it was just. We had a thing at my mum's house on the Sunday, so it was like there was no way I could do it. So did a little bit of editing whilst I was away camping, and then just bits and bobs. Finished it up on the Thursday, sent it to them on the Friday. So they released the single on the Monday,
Yeah. The video
and
came
then
out
the
on Friday.
video came out on the Friday, which is pretty
Yeah, yeah.
normal to do anyway. But it was a real it was a bit of a whirlwind.
Yeah, no, I'd just be intrigued for anyone who, takes the time to go and watch it and listen to it to see what their thoughts are. But I wanted to mention that this is something you turned around in the best part of 24 hours, collectively doing it all. It's not, like I said, it's not like it wasn't a planned out shoot with loads of extras and production or whatever. It was just a
No,
a
just
project
me
that-
shouting at my
Yeah.
kids.
Well, I was going to help you, wasn't I, originally, but then I didn't.
Yeah. Long story short. Well, short story, even
Yeah.
shorter.
I couldn't be here.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really cool. So go check it out.
Yeah.
The link's down below.
Yep. Cool. So go on then. What have you been doing?
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Well, I was going to talk about a shoot that I did in London, but there's kind of like a pre-story to that. So we went to London a couple of weeks back, and I think we actually, I can't remember if we spoke about these photos while we were there. But anyway, I went to London with Luke, and we walked around for a while and did some street photography. And then I went back to London end of last week to do a shoot for my friend's new coffee company. Should I go get a can?
If you want.
I went to London and I shot a little campaign for Cold Brew Coffee Co., which is
Good coffee.
yeah, really good coffee, and really nice boys there as well, and girls. But yeah, one of my friends reached out to me to do this little campaign for him. They're launching a few new flavours. Anyway, boring story, but effectively I had to do some product shots at the brewery, which was cool. Did some kind of headshots and all that kind of stuff, but they wanted some kind of lifestyle shots. So I can't help but relate that to street photography, especially how much we've walked around central London over the past couple of years or so, yeah? But I wanted to talk specifically about these example photos. If we can flash them up now, that would be fantastic. I've got them ready for you. Anyway, so here's 2 photos I took a couple of weeks ago, and then here's one of the photos that I shot for the campaign, and it just shows the relationship of, for me anyway, how much something like street photography can be related to my working life, I guess.
Is that Skipsy?
Yeah, that
Yeah,
is good.
yeah,
And then
yeah.
that's the other model as well.
Oh,
so
okay.
yeah, so literally, we went into central London. I went straight to that red wall, and I was like, I think I can. But because I'd already took those,
Yeah,
in fact,
yeah.
we did talk about this one because you said it's quite messy, and I said I quite liked it because of the
okay.
messiness. And then that's kind of what I used as inspiration
yeah,
to get a
yeah.
photo like that. Don't get me wrong, there's more than just that photo.
Mm.
But it was just an interesting thing to think I've used something from my personal projects in a work-related situation. Obviously, I took more photos than just this one, but I just quite liked it, and I thought the relationship.
Did you? Oh, that's surprising.
Yeah.
Wow, you're a professional.
Yeah, thank you. Rock on. But yeah, I just thought it was quite an interesting comparison between, you know, a commercial photo and a street photo. What's the real difference? Have you ever
We left the window open.
sit. But yeah, have you ever had anything like that? Something you've a photo that you've taken doing street photography and related that to something you've done for work? Have any of you guys done that?
Yeah, I can't think I do that really.
No, it was-
no. Do you know? Well, when I'm filming at events, I think I have a bit of a street photography hat on in terms of I'm just going over and getting the shot and getting in between people, and you know, not worrying about people going, oh, like what's he doing? So it's a bit of a mindset, but not so much in terms of the final, you know, edited work. But that's cool. It's a great thing to be able to do.
Yeah, and I think I've probably only noticed it because I took the photos, you know, pretty much within a week or so of each other. So it was still kind of fresh in my head, I guess. But I just thought it was a cool subject to talk about. Anyway, let's move on.
Great news. No, great. Well, talking of news, what's in the news?
I don't know. I'm not up to date really. Well, we briefly spoke about.
The 2 things that what we spoke about before was the now is officially called the Fuji X Half is released. It's pissed off everybody. I made a bold claim that I was definitely going to buy it if it was under £1,000. Of course,
How
it's
much
going
is
to be
it?
£699.
Yeah.
Actually, now I've seen it, it looks cool. I think the design of it looks good, but the actual thing of it, apparently it feels quite cheap to hold.
Oh, really?
It's all plastic.
Yeah.
And I don't care about so much like the sensor size. It's like I get
What is
it.
it? 12 megapixels soon?
No. It's I think it's effectively 17, but it's a 1-inch sensor.
Yeah.
And so that's basically like what's in a DJI Osmo or something like that. Obviously turned sideways, so it's vertical. I love the little screen, the touch screen on the back where you can select your film presets. So
I think it looks quite good.
and it's got a wind. So it's got film mode, which we
Yeah.
talked about. Love that as an idea, as a concept. It's got a film advanced lever, but apparently that feels a bit shit to use.
What, you think it just
It's
feels
it's
like
not.
it's gonna
It
break?
doesn't feel like. Maybe not. No, not even so much it's going to break. But 2 things. Okay, it doesn't shoot RAW, which, you know, okay, I could live with a Fuji camera, but you can't customize the presets. Do you know you can make your own recipes?
Yeah.
Can't do that. So
They have stripped it back though, haven't they? They've took out a lot of features just so it's.
but they've put video mode in.
Oh,
You can
yeah,
film.
yeah, I read about
You
that.
can film with it, but you can't shoot. You can't customize your own JPEGs. That's what Fuji's all about. So it's a no from me, I'm afraid.
Did you watch the Josh Edgoose video on it, or Frameline's channel or whatever it was?
I think if I was given one
Yeah.
to play with, I'm not saying he got given it so he was like, yeah, it's a great camera. Although those videos have been, they are out there from other people. I think I was given one to play with for a day. I'd be like, this is really fun.
Yep.
But to me, it's an Instax camera with a slightly
that's
better.
interesting. Yeah,
Apparently, the autofocus is crap. I mean, everyone always says that about Fuji, and it's not true. But apparently, it's a bit rubbish, and the quality of the images isn't high. But the film, like the light leaks and the how you can do like one frame and then another like above and below. That's all in the Instax cameras. Even the flash is the same as the Instax cameras. It's an LED flash. It's not a proper
So apart
flash.
from the fact that it's a half-frame camera, there's no real new features to it, and they've kind of sold it as
So
this.
the concept of doing a half frame
Yeah.
digital, I think, is really cool.
Yeah.
But I'd say almost put that in a X100. The next version of the X100 have a half frame option where you're only
Half-frame
shooting
mode,
on half of the frame, and it creates a diptych and puts them to a diptych and puts the two of them together.
Yeah.
Anyway, there we are with
But
that.
you're also you use your Pentax, right? So you're
Well, I've got a better
Yeah.
half-frame camera with a much better lens.
yeah.
Which
But
I
you're a
love
fan
using
of
it.
half-frame cameras.
Yeah, I think it's
I'm
really
not,
good fun.
not a fan of half-frame cameras, but I don't own one to kind of. You use your Pentax all the time. do you
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah.
It's a
I
carry
use it
camera
instead
for
of
you.
my phone now.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool. That's interesting. Because
Yeah.
that's an interesting thing we should talk about on your phone. If you ever use your camera on your phone, you only shoot black and white now, don't you?
I do.
Yeah. How's that going for you? Still doing it?
I like it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really, really good. It's
Yeah.
good fun.
I like
Yeah, if you don't know, you can save a preset on your phone so that when you open your camera app, it's always using a filter or like one of the presets that you have. So I have it always set to black and white. Obviously,
You
you
can still get
can
the raw
you
photo.
can change it. You can take the filter off afterwards. The only time I maybe don't use it is I'm going to send a picture to somebody on like WhatsApp, but then I'll just take the photo in WhatsApp and send it to them.
Oh,
If you know what I
okay.
mean.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like because they might be like, why are you sending me black
Yeah.
and white pictures? But yeah, so all the pictures
Is the
on my
WhatsApp camera way worse than the phone camera?
don't fucking.
No,
give
because
it a
if I
care.
ever take a photo in WhatsApp, I just go that quality.
Yeah, but
shit.
it's just for it's usually a quick. Hey,
Oh,
I'm in,
yeah,
I'm in the shot. What flavour tampons do you want or something? And like that sort of thing.
one of the frequent text messages you always send me.
Yeah. The other thing I saw in the news, which we didn't talk about last week, I should stop touching the microphone because we weren't here, was there was a new film stock launch. So we're way late to talking about this, but is it Kentmere, FOMO?
Oh yeah,
One of those companies that just make black and white film.
Yeah.
They do a 100 and a 400, and they've released a 200.
that was it. Was it Kent? Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah.
Kentmere, wasn't
What's your reaction to this?
I remember texting you about that because I was like, oh, it's a 200 speed film now. That's quite cool. But then I realised that they've already got a 100 and a 400 and a whatever it was, and it instantly kind of.
I couldn't be
deflated my-
less interested.
Yeah. But mind you, I haven't gone through shooting loads of film for ages. Like
Mm.
I think back to 5-6 years ago where me and you were especially you because you had the Analog Wonderland,
Wonderbox.
the Wonderbox.
Loved
So
the
you
Wonderbox.
were you were
I
getting
was,
lots
I was
of wonderful
drowning
film.
in film. I was
Yeah.
like, look at this weird film.
What was that
It's-
ISO film?
It's
you had?
0.8. I've still got that.
Have you?
Yeah, and I can't find anywhere to develop it. It's like basically black and white slide film.
Oh, okay.
I did shoot a roll of ISO 6 black and white film that was really, really sharp. And obviously shot it on a really sunny day.
Yeah.
And obviously ballsed up most of the roll because I'd shot it too slow. My maths wasn't mathing that day. But then, 200 ISO, sure.
Yeah.
But you got a 100, you got a 400.
Mm.
Why not make a 200? And it's great that people are still producing new film stocks, but make me a 1600 or a 32 that's actually 32, not Ilford Delta, which isn't actually 32.
Have you ever
It's
pushed that before?
3200,
You ever pushed it to?
64?
Yeah.
No, I've only ever shot like 2 or 3 rolls of that.
It's quite interesting. It's just a lot more contrasty, to be fair. But it's quite interesting. I feel like definitely in the last at least year or so, I've had no real drive or inspiration to get a new camera or anything. I'm in the lenses phase at the moment. I feel like I'm just looking at more lenses than I am.
But if you're
anything
going to
else.
buy
But,
anything,
Fuji got a new
that's-
lens coming out. They've got a new It's like the upgraded from the stock lens, I think. I might be way wrong in saying this, but I'm sure they've got a
Great news.
pre-order on the 52 whatever zoom lens it is, but it's been updated with whatever. I might have just made that up. It's probably best to leave this bit out, but I'm sure it hasn't even. I don't think it's been officially announced or anything. I need my phone to look, but I happened to see it the other day. I was looking at lenses, like X-mount lenses, and they said, I clicked on a lens that I thought was interesting, not knowing it was new, and it just said you could pre-order, so it must be something coming out.
Yeah, they have got another announcement coming up soon. But
Yeah.
whatever.
Anyway, that's the news.
That's the news.
that's our photography news. Weeks behind everything,
Yeah.
including the podcast.
We should look on a news website next time before we do this.
Yeah. We've been too busy, haven't we? We've been busy with
No
Front.
one's watching this for news, are they? Yeah.
We've been busy with Front, which leads us on to the next part. This video is brought to you by Front Photography. What is Front, Luke?
Oh, well, it's a website, what we made, where you can sell prints of your photos. No one's ever done that before. And order a print. Do you know what? Yes, obviously people have done this before, although I didn't realise when we first started building it. But no one, I think, gives as much money to the photographer as we do.
No way. We're proud of that fact, aren't we? Oh, and I bought a print the other day. I won't say who
Yeah,
from.
I saw.
Yeah, but I won't say who from, but I wanted to support and buy a print that I liked. And I got a message from this person a few days later saying, "Hi, mate, do you know who's bought my print?"
Oh.
So obviously I told them it was myself because I didn't want to pretend it was someone else.
Yeah.
But
But you can't, you can't give that information out.
No,
if
no,
it's
but
not
I
you, basically.
Yeah, but I didn't mind saying to
Yeah.
him that it was me that bought it. However, he had the money in his bank account within 48 hours.
Absolutely,
Which
yeah,
is
yeah.
awesome, yeah, and it's a good, like I said, it's the most we can afford to kind of give.
It's
give to you guys.
literally like if we were doing it for less, we would be running at a loss every time we sell a print. So
I think some even come in at a loss, don't they, at the moment, because we've had a bit of a change with some things. But anyway,
no.
we're not here to talk about Front. We just want to tell you what Front is. Front is
Yeah, do you understand what it is?
Front is a digital platform that lets you create your own online gallery to upload your photos and sell them to awesome people that want to buy them. It's still very much in its early stages. It's in its infancy. We've got a lot of features and things to add to the platform that will help it grow and help it be better. But if you are one of the awesome people that are on there, thank you. And if you're one of those awesome people that have bought a print, thank you. Anyway, that's
well,
enough
we were
about-
going to say at the end of the podcast for talking about Front, weren't we?
Were we?
But that's it.
No one watches
No,
that
no,
long.
no. Photo of the week.
Photo of the week.
Yeah, let's end with that as we are supposed to.
So the photo of the week is one that I picked this week, and it's by photographer
Paul Crudge.
Paul Crudge Photography, and it's a photo called Maverick. Now, when I first saw this photo, I was instantly amazed by it.
Okay.
I just think it looks really cool, like heavy contrast, and it's a duck crossing a path, yeah. But I was like, how did he even get that photo? But then I realised
We
it was,
waited for a duck.
yeah, well, it was taken in kind of lockdown times.
Okay.
But that's from memory. So yeah, this photo was taken in Manchester city centre, which when I read that, I was just like, this is insane. Like, why is there nothing else in this photo? But I think it's the simplicity of it that I'm drawn to, especially as you see just a duck. Why is it in the middle of... First of all, why is there a duck in the middle of Manchester city centre? But maybe that was their time to
It's a
roam
goose.
around. A goose, sorry.
That's why it's called Maverick.
Yeah, I just realised that as I just said it. But yeah, I just thought it was a really cool photo, and it's also one of those photos that I think would look good as a print. I don't know if you share my kind of thoughts on this, but there's quite a lot of... Well, how many photos have we got uploaded to Front now?
800,000 images. I don't know, a couple of thousand.
Yeah,
or so.
There's a lot. There's way more than we kind of expected. Anyway, when I look through some of the photos, I can't help but judge them, right? That's what I'm doing. I'm looking for a nice photo that I want to buy, maybe. But some photos are just really good, but they'd go better in a series of other photos, maybe. That's just my opinion. I don't know if you kind of share that. But then some photos stand out to me as a standalone print, and I'm like, that would just look cool. I'd like to own that as a piece of artwork. And this is one of those photos, and I just really like it. I'm just really drawn to it. I'm jealous. I wish I would have taken that photo.
Really happy to see the Crudge hasn't sold it for the minimum selling price of £20.
Yeah, what's this one for sale?
65.
65 of your British English pounds.
But that's I love to see that because
Don't undervalue your work.
yeah, Yeah.
Don't undervalue your work.
And he risked getting COVID to get that.
There
Duck
you go.
COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah, goose COVID.
Goose COVID.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, if you're interested in buying this, we'll leave a link down below, so it takes you to Paul's gallery, and you can purchase or have a look through some of his other images. But yeah, that's my photo of the week.
Well done.
What else do we want to talk about?
Nothing.